Team Colors. There is a football field outside Dryle. This is where children from all over the island will compete against each other. Every year, one of its engines would dress up in its Sodor team colors and will pull a special train carrying the players to the field. But only the engine who finish their jobs first will pull the train. Thomas hoped he will pull the train this year as he finished all his jobs. He was on his way to the yards to be decorated in the green and white flags. But when he arrived at the yards, there was James. James had finished all his jobs first. Cinders and ashes! Look, Thomas, don't these flags look wonderful on me? James huffed proudly. Thomas was upset. But you pulled the team last year, and I'm pulling again this year, because I finished all my jobs and I got to the yards first. Thomas was very upset. It's not fair, he wished. James was so proud of wearing the team colors that he completely forgot that he had to collect his coaches. So Thomas collected Annie and Clairbo instead and followed James around. At the signal, Thomas tried to explain to James that he needs to collect the Fat Controller and the trophy, and this is what the engine wearing team colors must do. But James didn't think about that. He thought wearing the team colors is much more exciting, and he continued off showing off. Bother, said Thomas. This is not going to end well. James continued to show off his beautiful green and white flags, while Thomas headed off to collect the Sodor team. But he knew he had to be there before James. Otherwise, James would cause confusion and delay. So he went to the signal box and asked the signalman to change the points to send James onto a longer route. There, at the same time, James went on to the other line, which turned out to be the passing loop. But the passing loop has not been used for a long time. It was very overgrown. Thomas heard scratches and scraping sounds. When Thomas saw what had happened, he could not believe his eyes. All the green and white flags had been ripped from all over James. The Sodor team colors are ruined, cried James. Thomas felt terrible. I'll go and get help, he said, and he quickly steamed away. On the way, he saw Bertie. Bertie was taking children to the football game. They were all carrying flags and wearing scarves. Smoke was coming from his radiator, and his engine made a wheezing sound. Please, Thomas, I have broken down. Can you take the children to the football game for me? I'm sorry, Bertie, but I had to help James. Thomas felt bad. He had already got James into trouble, and now he couldn't help Bertie. Suddenly, Thomas had an idea. I can take your passengers, Bertie, and I can help James too. So Thomas collected the children and took them to James, where the children decorated James with their scarves and flags. He looked splendid. Afterwards, James continued on to the football stadium, followed by Thomas, but not before collecting the Fat Controller and the trophy on the way. When James arrived at the football field, everyone cheered. They all thought he looked wonderful. I look even better than last year, said James proudly. Thomas pulled in with the Fat Controller, the children and the school team. Maybe I could wear those team colors next year, Thomas said hopefully. James thought that was a grand idea. But only if you get to the yards first, he teased.